Hey guys, what's going on today? BOJoeKO here, and we are back with our NHL 15 BGM following the Vancouver Canucks. So it's been a very busy trade deadline for the Vancouver Canucks, both before and on the day of the trade deadline. And a lot of changes have definitely been made to this team. So if you guys did miss the last episode, make sure to go check it out in the link in the description. But just to give you guys a line update on what has been fixed, as you guys can see, we have Anthony Duclair slided into our second line pair, and Glenn Butonli moves back down to the third line, as well as playing with Bo Horvat and Ola Svedberg. So if you guys do not remember, Anthony Duclair and Svedberg were picked up from the New York Rangers in that trade that they offered us, trading Lindvay, a second and a prospect away, to grab up these two pretty decently overall snipers from the New York Rangers. Still don't know why they wanted to give those guys away at all. Probably to make cap room for some big signings maybe they have in the offseason. They just wanted to unload those guys to us. So whatever the case, Gene Bolesky is down there on the fourth line. Remember, we picked him up on waivers from the Florida Panthers. Hunter Shinkruk is no longer here. We'll get to that. Serge Turgeon is now in the top four lineup there, as we trade away Christopher Tanev in the last episode. And what I think we're going to do is, I'm pretty sure we can look at a news update and just show you guys all the trades that have been made. If we go to updates and go to the activity feed, we can take a look at all the trades that have been made so far. Yes, we can. So the 3-1 and the 3-2 trades are basically what have happened so far during the trade deadline. So Boston acquired Randy Monroe and Dim Dreiger from Colorado in return for Peter Cherelik. So that was the one guy Boston was trading to us. The Blues got Chris Dreiger from Ottawa for a second and a third. And then this is when the Canucks just started making their trades. Really, the first trade that they made was all the way down here, where the New York Rangers got center Lindvay, Jay Asham, and a second round pick from the Canucks in order to pick up Ola Svedberg and Anthony Duclair. So that was the big trade that we made. And then here's all our trade deadline signings. So the LA Kings got Christopher Tanev and Russ Klimmy from us in return for Serge Turgeon and Francis Brunel. We had to take back Brunel so that we could get relieve the LA Kings of some cap, but we also had to retain some of the cap from Christopher Tanev. So as a result of that, we had to release some more salary. One of the best trades I think we did make of this trade deadline was the trade that we made with the Winnipeg Jets, giving up Thomas Greiss away and picking up Philippe Modry and a second round pick from the Winnipeg Jets. I think that was the most value trade that we definitely could have gotten from the deadline. And then finally, since we picked up Svedberg and Duclair, Hunter Shinkruk's services basically were no longer needed in here in Vancouver. So we dished him off to the Eastern Conference to the New Jersey Devils in return for a prospect, Tommy Shaw, and a 2022 third round pick from the New Jersey Devils. So that is all the trades that have been happened so far. We have everything that we need to have. Nick McBride is the backup for Patrick Polivka. So what we're going to do here is we're going to sim past the Arizona game just to see if any more trades do happen between this day here. But this is it. Remember, we're 6 points behind a wild card spot, 6 points behind in the wild card race. Ben Dupereau is being claimed off waivers. How old is he and who is he? 25 years old, 73 overall. We're going to decline that. Still one trade coming in, Carlotti and Aubrey for Nick Spaulding. Nope, we're going to decline that trade, obviously. And we're just going to go into this game here against the Arizona Coyotes. I changed up my scouting, so we are scouting the WHL because there is a franchise player there, and we start off with a loss. So we'll check the news updates here just to see if there were any more trades that did go through here in that last day of trades. And yes, there is some more trades. So Ottawa got a goaltender, Eteni Marco from Nashville for Chris Kreider, so they shipped off Canadian Duke. And then finally the Avalanche got Lucas Spiza for Blake McFarland and a third round pick. So that is all the trades that have been made for the trade deadline, and now it is basically in the hands of the Vancouver Canucks if they can turn this around. And they started off with a loss, which isn't great to see, but this is all in the hands of the Canucks now to see what happens for this playoff push, technically. So we're 6 points behind in the playoff race, probably more now after that loss to the Coyotes, but since they probably were ahead of us in our division, we really need to make up some ground here. A lot of divisional opponents as well, but honestly, like I said, we made those trades because we feel this team is not in a playoff push, but you never know, this team could definitely surprise some people if they managed to just go on a massive win streak like they did the previous month or so when they went 7-3. And once again, they start off with 2 losses against divisional opponents, but then they come back with 2 straight wins against the Sharks and the Ducks. So a lot of divisional opponents this month as well. Arizona twice, LA twice, Winnipeg down there as well. A lot of Western Conference opponents too. And 3-2 loss to the Kings. Not really what you wanted to see there. You need to get a win against the LA Kings, make up some ground. You're just giving points to divisional opponents. Got to catch up them. Tampa Bay is already at 50-win season. That's crazy. They might hit a 60-win season. That's crazy. And they managed to shut them out 2-0. So the Canucks just shut down a 50-win team on pace for like 60 wins, possibly. But we'll see what happens here. All right, the New York Rangers, they're not a good team, and they beat them 4-1. So the Vancouver Canucks are above 500 for the first time in a very, very, very long time. 33-32-3. So they need to keep up this winning streak here. It's an overtime loss to the Hurricanes. It's still points against the Eastern Conference team, so you're not giving another Western Conference team here. Here's 3 really big games coming up right now. The LA Kings, Arizona, and Winnipeg. We lost 3-2 to the LA Kings last time. Another shootout loss to the LA Kings, so they get 1 point on us. And the Arizona Coyotes here lose 1-0. So once again, not really doing any good there to our division. Once again, come back with a 3-2 win though over the Winnipeg Jets. Still trying to keep the record semi-respectable, I guess you could say. We easily lost our first overall pick, or the high top 5 pick, with all these wins here at the back end of the season. But you know, about all of our losses so far this month, only 2 of them we didn't get points for, or 3 of them we didn't get points for. I'm sorry, I should say. Is that another overtime loss to Dallas, or is it taking a long time to load? 5-4 win over the Stars, so there's another win. St. Louis Blues are a very good team. We are a good road team this year too. Okay, so the scouting is done. I'm gonna scout the WHL yet again because, like I said, there is a potential for those really good forwards here. So we're gonna scout him for keep scouting the forwards for 6 weeks because there is a franchise player there. So we'll scout that out. If we don't make the playoffs, we can easily pin the guys on our watch list and take a look at them more in-depthly during the offseason. But there's another win, 4-0 over the St. Louis Blues, Nashville, and a 4-1 win over the Nashville Predators. Can you end the month on a 4-game win streak with points in your last 5 games over the Chicago Blackhawks? And the Vancouver Canucks beat them 6-3. So the Vancouver Canucks currently are on a 4-game winning streak with points in their last 6 games to raise their record to 38, 33, and 6. So this is going to be interesting. All the final 4 games are against divisional opponents. So the Winnipeg Jets sit at 39, 32, and 5, which are in a race technically for a wild card spot, I would assume. The LA Kings, we know where they stand. The Arizona Coyotes, we know where they stand. The Edmonton Oilers, we know where they stand. And the Calgary Flames, we know where they stand. All 3 of which, the Edmonton, Calgary, and LA, all have kind of similar records to each other. So where do the Vancouver Canucks sit? They're in 5th right now. So the Vancouver Canucks are currently in 5th place. Let's take a look at the standings, shall we? Take a look at the standings, as San Jose has already clinched the division. So there's no way we're winning that. The Vancouver Canucks, though, currently sit at 82 points. Okay. As Calgary is at 84. What is the other division looking like? Okay, so those 3 teams have clinched. The Central Division is already done with. So the current wild card spot is being held by the Winnipeg Jets at 83 points. So your current wild card leaders are the Calgary Flames and the Winnipeg Jets. The Vancouver Canucks are 1 point off of the Winnipeg Jets for a wild card spot. However, the Arizona Coyotes, Anaheim Ducks, and Calgary Flames, Vancouver and LA, and Edmonton in a case, all have basically everything to gain and nothing to lose. These games are pretty crucial right now for the Vancouver Canucks if they want to have any sort of chance of making it into the playoffs. These 5 games right here at the end of the season are going to matter very big. This game right here starts it off with a huge game. The Vancouver Canucks could jump ahead of the Winnipeg Jets and take over that final wild card spot with a victory here over the Winnipeg Jets in regulation. So this is a very big game here to start off the final 5 games of the year for the Vancouver Canucks. This could be it. This could be the chance for the Canucks to possibly make it into the playoff spots. You lose the game here to the Winnipeg Jets, you kind of cripple yourselves. So this is a very big game here to start off the month. So let's go, boys. Let's start off. You know what I'm going to do? I want to make sure that, I really want to make sure that whoever's in net is in net. Patrick Polivka is starting in net. So I'm going to check back on the line edits every single time to make sure that Polivka is going to be starting in these games. I don't want Nick McBride playing backup, playing goal for these 5 games. So let's start it off. Let's see if the Vancouver Canucks can actually pull off a miracle and make it into the playoffs. Starting off on April 2nd in Winnipeg. Here we go. It's the chance to take the lead for that final wild card spot over the Winnipeg Jets, as that game goes into an overtime loss. So in a sense, the Vancouver Canucks still stay within 1 point of that final wild card spot behind the Winnipeg Jets. So the Winnipeg Jets are now at 85. The Vancouver, well, no, we fall 2 points behind them. So they're at 85. And we are at 83. So we fall 2 points behind them. So not a great way to start that off. Would have been nice to get a win, a regulation win, but, we do get some points for it nonetheless. So Patrick Polivka is still in net. Good. All right, so next game up here, like I said, these games are all in the hands of this team and see what they can do. So next up against the LA Kings here, who are fighting for a wild card spot as well. This is a big game here against the LA Kings. All 3 of these next games are at home, a place that we have struggled so far this year for the Vancouver. And we do manage to get a 4-3 win over the LA Kings. Not sure if it's overtime or whatever. It doesn't really matter at this point, as we get a 4-3 win over the Kings and gain a valuable 2 points. So there you go, Canucks. There you go. So 3 games left. Arizona, Edmonton, and Calgary. That game against the Calgary Flames might be one of the biggest games of the year, to be honest. All right, so let's go once again, check up on our edit lines, make sure Polivka is in the net. He is in the net. I just want to double check, because I do not want I don't want Nick McBride starting. Okay, so Polivka is in the net once again. Well, actually, it's an off day, so I might not be entirely sure. So let us simulate up to this day against the Arizona Coyotes first, and then we'll check it out. Okay, so we're game day here against the Arizona Coyotes at home. Once again, I'm just going to double check, make sure that Polivka is in the net and not Nick McBride. He is good. All right, so here we go. Let's simulate this game here against the Arizona Coyotes. Another big game here, coming off a big game win against the LA Kings. Another crucial game here against the Arizona Coyotes, who are already in the playoffs, I believe, at this point for a division. I think one of the division spots, but I could be wrong. But this is a big game here against the Arizona Coyotes. Can the Canucks pull out a win? And the Canucks pull out a 4-2 win over the Arizona Coyotes. Okay. Interesting. So the Vancouver Canucks, once again, the Canucks have gotten points in their last, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. The Vancouver Canucks have put up a very interesting push here at the end of the year to get points in their past 9 games. Now, this could be a very interesting final 2 games here against the Edmonton Oilers and the Calgary Flames. All right, so the Vancouver Canucks are still in 5th place behind the Calgary Flames, probably because of those overtime losses are really racking up for the Flames, which is why they might be holding a little bit of an edge. All right, Patrick Polivka still seems to be the starter in net for this game. Okay, let's take a look at the standings. 2 games remain. 2 games remain for the Canucks. How many games are left for the other teams, though? So the Vancouver Canucks currently sit at 87 points. 2 points behind the Anaheim Ducks, though, for the 3rd spot in the division. 1 point behind the Calgary Flames. LA is still hot on the tails. Calgary does have a game in hand still, so that could be a little bit of troublesome right there. But what is the Central Division looking like? The Winnipeg Jets have moved ahead to have 89 points. So that game against the Jets looks to be holding really, really valuable right now. Right, so the Canucks are still 2 points behind a wildcard spot right now. Actually, they're 1 point behind a wildcard spot against the Calgary Flames. So that game against the Flames might prove deadly. But they do have an extra game in hand. Do remember that. All right, so honestly, the Canucks need to come out here with 2 big regulation wins against the Edmonton Oilers and the Calgary Flames if they want to win this, if they want to try to clinch a wildcard spot. So here we go. 2 very big games here. April 9th against the Edmonton Oilers. Can the Canucks pull out a win here against Edmonton? Wait for it. And it's going to be a 1-0 win over the Edmonton Oilers. Oh my goodness. This is shaping up to be one of the most exciting freaking end of the seasons ever. The Vancouver Canucks, who basically trade away a lot of their players at the trade deadline, have made a run for themselves here at the end of the year. And the Vancouver Canucks have jumped ahead of the Calgary Flames for the 4th spot in the division. So we have 1 game remaining here. We have 1 game remaining. The Vancouver Canucks currently sit at 89 points. 2 points behind the Arizona Coyotes. Now, the thing is here, there are a lot of scenarios in hand right now for this division. We sit at 89 points. The Winnipeg Jets sit at 91. So we currently hold the wild card spot. This game against the Calgary Flames is basically going to either... Oh man, this is tough. Because Calgary still has a game in hand. That's the problem, some part. If they get at least, like, if they get a point or 2 points in that final game, they win the wild card regardless. So, this game here, if the Vancouver Canucks can beat the Calgary Flames in regulation in this game, the Vancouver Canucks will guarantee themselves a spot in the playoffs. So this is a playoff implication game right now here in year number 7 of this Vancouver Canucks GM mode. The Vancouver Canucks need a regulation win over the Calgary Flames to secure themselves of a playoff spot. You win and you're in. This is basically it. It's on the road in the Saddle Dome in Calgary. So this is it, boys. Either you win this game, you're going to the playoffs, you lose this game, and you're going home. So basically, that's what it's gonna level out to. So here we go, boys. This is the biggest game of the freaking season for the freaking Vancouver Canucks. I gotta make sure that Patrick Polivka is in the net for this game. As Nick McBride is in net for this game, I don't think so. This is the biggest game that the Canucks have this entire year. We're gonna either make it or break it. Patrick Polivka is going in net for this game against the Calgary Flames. No way Nick McBride's going in there that game and making us cause either a win or a loss for that game. This is all going to be dependent on it. Best lines are out there. Let's go, boys. You win and you're in, you lose and you're out. So here we go. Final game of the year in the Saddle Dome against the Calgary Flames. Can the Vancouver Canucks make it to the playoffs? We need a regulation win, and they beat them 5-2 in regulation, and your Vancouver Canucks are headed to the playoffs. Oh my goodness. What a stretch to the end of the year for this Vancouver Canucks team. After coming off the trade deadline, a little bit of a struggling start to it once you hit the middle of the month. But once the end of the month came and the Vancouver Canucks saw that they had themselves a chance to make it into the playoffs, they absolutely went on a tear. Look at this. 1-0, starting from the freaking March 22nd. They go 1-0, 1-0-1, 2-0-1. 3-0-1, 4-0-1, 5-0-1, 6-0-2, 7-0-2, 8-0-2, 9-0-2, 10-0-2 since March 22nd. The Vancouver Canucks have not lost in regulation since March 22nd. They win. They get points in their past 12 games to make a 91 points. And your Vancouver Canucks are headed to the freaking playoffs, finishing 3rd in the division and getting the 3rd seed, passing the Arizona Coyotes to make it into the 3rd spot in the division. The Vancouver Canucks don't even have to settle for a wild card slot at this point in time. So it looks like we're going to be playing the, well, we clinched a playoff spot. let's not forget, Arizona still has a game in hand. Arizona still has a game in hand. I forgot about that. And Calgary still has a game in hand. So we still could lose. We still could be slide into a wild card spot at this point in time. So what we should do here is we need to figure out who we're going to play in the playoffs. So let us simulate a day because Arizona still has a game left here. We're going to have to see what happens with them. We'll simulate a day up to make sure that Arizona plays their final game. Because we're either gonna have to beat, we're either in a wild card slot or or the third slot in the division, and we move all the way up to second. What? The Vancouver Canucks have moved all the way up to second because I believe they beat the season series over the Anaheim Ducks, and that is going to be our opponents in the playoffs. Is the Anaheim Ducks. With 91 points, with a record of 42, 33, and 7, the Vancouver Canucks get the second seed in the Western Conference. Get one of the second seeds in the Western Conference. Wow. What a freaking comeback by this Vancouver Canucks team. That is absolutely insane. The Arizona Coyotes missed the playoffs, and the Calgary Flames do get a point in their final game, or maybe they got a win in their final game. Either a point, no, they got a win in their final game to pass the Arizona Coyotes and get into the wild card spot. Wow. So, yep, Winnipeg does clinch the other wild card slot with 93 points, and the Vancouver Canucks get the second seed in the division with 91 points, beating the Anaheim Ducks in the season series to gain home ice advantage in the playoffs. This Vancouver Canucks team has home ice advantage in the first round of the playoffs. Unfreaking real. Wow. What a run by this team at the end of the year. That is absolutely insane, boys. Absolutely insane. So let us check the stats. Let's check the stats. Let's see how good this team actually did coming down the stretch. See if they actually turned anything around. So goals for per game. It's still down there at a 2.7. It got a little bit better, 2.7. So it's not too far off from the top, but still, it's not the greatest. Goals against per game. The Vancouver Canucks definitely turned their game around in the goals against per game. Patrick Polivka started to play his little heart out. I'll give you that much. They ended 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. They ended the 10th best team for goals against. So that's not bad. One of the bottomer teams for not getting goals, but you know, top 10 for not giving up as many goals. That's a pretty good job for the Canucks. Power play percentage, yeah, the power play is still pretty weak this year, just because we had a lot of it. 363 times on the power play. We were the most team on the power play. All right, and then penalty kill. Let's check out the penalty kill. Where's our penalty kill at? Is it still down there near the bottom? Looks to be maybe towards the middle of the pack. Yeah, it's toward the middle of the pack at 81%, so it's not bad. Are we still the most disciplined team? Yeah, so we were the most disciplined team, and we had the most power plays, so that's probably why our numbers are a little bit fluctuated. But man, what a freaking run by this Vancouver Canucks team coming into the playoffs as well. Home, we ended up positive, over 500 on the road, I guess you could say. Well, technically 20 and 21, but still 20, 19 and 2 at home, 22, 14 and 5. On the road, and the last 10 games 8-0 and 2. A really amazing run that the Vancouver Canucks went on to end the freaking year and make it into the playoffs. Wow, absolutely unreal run here at the end, boys, to clinch a freaking playoff spot and home ice advantage in the first round. Surprised the hell out of me. Oh my goodness. All right, so let's take a look at our forward stats here. So Alex Galchenyuk, not a great year by him. It's 68 points. I think he had, yeah, he had the same exact year for the past couple of years. So he's kind of been digressing at this point, but still, 68 points is not bad. Grigorenko with 63. Ryan Strome with 56, 20-goal season for him. Grigorenko with a 20-goal season as well. Matthew Barzal with 49 points, not the greatest year for him at all. Chad Roloff, pretty good year for him, 49 points. How many points did he have last year? Well, much better year last year, obviously, because he had second-line time this year. So Chad Roloff had a good year with 49 points, almost a 50-point season, almost 20 goals for him as well. Anthony Duclair finished with 48 for us. Like I said, we don't know how many points he had. And then really, not really much depth anywhere else. I mean, Putolny, once again, he got demoted to the third line. And he finished with a 28 points For us, Gabriel Bork had 25 on the fourth line. Brendan Gaunce had 24 on the fourth line. Obviously, our fourth line came in clutch there. Olaf Svedberg finished with 24. Bolesky finished with 21 on the fourth line as well. 13 goals for him. Bo Horvat with 18. And then Mitch Mraz, obviously, was scratched, so he finished with 12. So not a bad little run there. Nobody outstanding numbers this year. You know, a lot of depth, a lot of goal scoring as well. I mean, look at all these goals that were near 20, like 17, 24, 20, 18, 19, 20. Like 13 from our fourth line, 13 from the fourth line, 17 assists from the fourth line. So a lot of good depth goal scoring. Not a lot of guys getting near 20 goals this year, which is pretty good. So we almost have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, around 6 guys almost near 20 goals this year. So not bad. That's for the offense. Defense, Ken Fowler finished with 52 points, not bad. Dougie Hamilton with 39. Nordlund finished with 30. Helminen with 25. Corson finished with 9. And then, obviously, Serge Turgeon started out for us. And look at that. Serge Turgeon jumped up to an 85 overall. We picked him up from the LA Kings when he was 83. He has now progressed to an 85 overall. So the 20 games that he played, he got 2 goals, 2 assists for 4 points with a +7. So that's actually pretty good for him. As our little offensive defenseman getting some power play time, and he's grown to an 85 overall. So very good pickup there for what's his face, for Christopher Tanev. So very good trade there. And then the goaltenders. Let's see how good Nick McBride played. Nick McBride played 1 game. He played 1 game. He got a loss. He gave up around probably 2 goals in that game, so not too bad. But Polivka, he picked his game up at the end of the year, to say the least. We rode him like a freaking racehorse, that's to say the least. And, you know, he went in there and he definitely probably stole some games for us. 2.42 goals against average, 32, 19, and 3. Save percentage of .915. 5 shutouts for him, though. That's pretty good for 5 shutouts. Let's actually take a look at Polivka's stats once again. Let's take a look. Was it one of those years? It was it wasn't as good. Like, he had a replicable amount of wins to last season. He had a much better goals against average last season as well. He had a much better shot. Yeah, he got us a lot more wins this year. He started a lot more games as well. But goals against, he gave up a lot more goals this year. That's because, you know, he had to deal with some obviously some changes in the defense for the Canucks. But other than that, you know, he played pretty well for us. Goals against average obviously went up a little bit, gave up a lot more goals this year, but, you know, he has his second most career wins in a season with 32. And, you know, it's not bad. Not bad at all, Polivka, I'll give it to you. Earning I guess, that last stretch there, he earned that $7 million, so without a doubt he earned it. So, there you go, boys. Your Vancouver Canucks are in the freaking playoffs. Cannot believe this team actually made the playoffs. After trading away the players that we did, we are actually in the playoffs. Wow, unreal. And we're gonna have home ice advantage in round number 1, I believe, against the Anaheim Ducks. I do believe so. Stop the simulation. Yep. So we're gonna be going up against the Anaheim Ducks in round number 1 of this playoffs here. And yeah, we'll take a look at the playoff tree, see what it looks like. Man, I can't believe that. I cannot believe that. Never have I had a team that trades away players like that in any GM mode that I've ever played. Never have I had a team that trades away guys like that and actually makes it into the playoffs. So here's what the West looks like. The St. Louis Blues up against the Colorado Avalanche. Nashville against Calgary. Calgary's already up 1-0 in that series. Vancouver against Anaheim, and then San Jose against Winnipeg. Winnipeg's already up 1-0 in that series. And then the East, we have the Columbus Blue Jackets up against the Philadelphia Flyers. So that Philadelphia Flyers and Hunter Shinkaruk are in the playoffs. Did any of the teams we make trades with make it in? So the Winnipeg Jets, we made a trade with them, obviously. They got Grice, so he's in. We traded Tanev to the LA Kings, so he didn't make it. And then, so it was LA, Winnipeg, and then... no, we didn't trade Hunter Shinkaruk to Philadelphia. No, we didn't. We traded Hunter Shinkaruk to New Jersey. Okay, that's right. Yeah, I forgot about that. So, Washington against the Toronto Maple Leafs. Toronto's already up 1-0 in that series. Montreal versus Detroit. And then Tampa Bay versus Buffalo. Buffalo is leading in that series 1-0. So, the unlikely story of the Vancouver Canucks continues. A team that did not think we were going to make it into the playoffs at all. And this team magically does make it into the playoffs. Actually, before I check, where did we end off the year, team stats wise? Like, what like ranking team did we end up with? We were number 13, right? Yeah, we were 13th best team in the NHL. So that's gonna make our draft pick like what? Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So we're still gonna have like a 20, like an 18, like a low teen, high 20 pick at the end of this playoff run here. So that's what's gonna happen. Another 30-minute GM mode, another long one, a very freaking exciting one at the least. And we have playoffs. Playoffs, you kidding me? I'm not kidding you guys. This Vancouver Canucks team makes it back to the playoffs, and we're gonna go on a little bit of a playoff run here. So thanks guys for watching. Leave a like, comment, subscribe as always, and we're gonna do the playoff run next time around. So yeah, let's do this.